Imagine this. Every single choice you've ever made actually spun off a brand new universe. Right now, there's a version of you who's a billionaire sipping cocktails on a yacht, another who's shredding on stage as a rock star, and, let's be honest, probably one who never even existed because things went really sideways. Sounds like a wild movie plot, right? Except actual scientists are losing sleep over this stuff. So grab a coffee, or whatever you're having, and let me walk you through the craziest evidence that parallel universes might be real. Okay, first thing. Our universe is huge, 93 billion light years across that we can see. But what's outside the part we can see? If space just keeps going forever, there's only so many ways atoms can shuffle themselves around. Keep shuffling long enough and boom, everything starts repeating. That means there could be another Earth out there, and another you right now reading this exact sentence, maybe in slightly better pajamas. The universe that we know and exist in all began with the Big Bang, which expanded many times faster than the speed of light in a growth spurt called inflation. And for as long as there has been a universe, space has been expanding, ever since it came into existence some 13.8 billion years ago. And it continues to expand. As far as we know, our universe is a single, expanding blob of space-time, speckled with trillions of galaxies, that now stretches approximately 93 billion light-years from edge to edge. However, beyond this limit, there are things we cannot see, that could be something more, or just an infinite expanse of nothingness. Our universe could be really, really big, but also finite. Or it could be infinitely big. Both these things are very real possibilities. However, if the universe is this infinitely big, there are only so many ways that matter can arrange itself within that universe. And eventually, matter has to repeat and arrange itself in similar ways. If the universe is without an end, then it just might be home to parallel several universes. If that sounds somewhat confusing, think of a deck of cards. If you shuffle the deck, there are only so many orderings that can happen. And if you shuffle it enough times, the order of cards has to repeat and repeat again. With an infinite universe and only a finite number of complexions of matter, the way matter arranges itself will also have to repeat and repeat again. That said, if a multiverse does exist, there will also be infinite versions of you. Other alternate versions of you might be doing the same thing you're doing right now. However, some might be wearing different clothes and probably made vastly different career and life choices. You might drive a basic car in one world, but drive a sports car in another. But how could this even be possible? Because the current observable universe extends only as far as light has travelled in 13.7 billion years since the Big Bang, the space-time beyond this distance can be considered to be its own separate universe. And if this is true, then there would be a multitude of universes existing next to each other in a giant crisscross patchwork of universes. Although the idea of parallel universes, or a multiverse, remains a mystery, with some calling the idea pure science fiction, it's still one of the biggest debates between experts, with many believing they exist, while others disagree. So now let's take a look at why some researchers think they exist, and the unexplained scientific events that could actually be hard proof that parallel universes might exist. But first, we need a little bit of physics to understand everything. Now, let's talk about the double-slit thing, because quantum physics loves to mess with us. You fire one tiny photon at two slits, and get this, it acts like it went through both at the same time. But the second you try to peek and see which slit it actually picked, poof, it picks one like a normal, well-behaved particle. There are even versions of this experiment where looking at the particle later somehow changes what it did in the past. Yeah, the universe is basically trolling us. Back in 1957, this guy, Hugh Everett III, yes, the third, very fancy, was chatting with friends and went, "You know what? Maybe reality just splits every time something could go two ways. Every possibility actually happens, just in its own universe." Everyone thought he was nuts for decades, but now a bunch of top physicists are like, maybe Hugh was onto something. Honestly, respect. After the Big Bang, space blew up like the world's fastest balloon. We call that inflation. Some theories say parts of space never stopped inflating. They just keep blowing bigger forever, spitting out little pocket universes like bubbles in a cosmic jacuzzi. We might literally be inside one of those bubbles right now, chilling while totally different physics parties are happening next door. String theory gets even weirder. It says there could be up to 11 dimensions, most of them rolled up smaller than we can notice. Entire universes could be floating around in that extra-dimensional space, so close that if you shrunk down to the size of an atom, you'd bump into one. We can't wave hello, but gravity might be sneaking back and forth between them. Then there's this wild story from Antarctica. Scientists flying a giant balloon with antennas picked up super high energy particles coming up out of the ground. Normal physics says that's impossible. They should have been stopped by the entire Earth. The only explanation that hasn't been ruled out yet: these particles came from a parallel universe that's running backward in time. So to them, we're the ones going in reverse. Hi, backward neighbours. Oh, and have you seen the cosmic microwave background, the baby picture of the universe? It's almost perfectly smooth, except for this one gigantic cold spot, bigger than anything we can explain. Best guess left on the table? Our universe once gently bumped into another bubble universe and left a bruise on the sky. And black holes? They're supposed to erase information, which physics hates. Some scientists now say, nah, the info just slips into parallel realities. So black holes might secretly be universe-making machines. Look, I know this all sounds insane, but the evidence is stacking up, from quantum labs to the edge of space. The multiverse isn't just late-night what-if talk anymore. Reality might be way bigger, way weirder, and way more crowded with versions of you than any of us ever imagined. Pretty cool, right?